Hi, it's John from North Star Nursery, Garden and Home, your coastal gardener. Okay, this video has probably been a long time coming. This is Pruning Demystified on hydrangeas. Now, this was a deep dive for me because honestly, I have not known all of this information. I've known some of it, but not all of it. And so it's actually kind of simple. I'm hoping I'm going to show it to you simply because it is pretty simple once you kind of get the rhythm of what it's about. So what I wanted to just point out first off is this is just a few of the hydrangeas we have. But there's more coming in next week. So this guy up here is a really beautiful hydrangea macrophylla. I think it's called Summer Beauty. This guy I love, and I do not normally like lace caps, but this is called Shooting Star, and it has a double white flower, and then the little lace cap. So this never creates a full mop head. It only does the lace cap with the little tiny flowers in the center that have a blue coloration, and then the white flowers around the edge. We have those in 3-gallon and in 1-gallon if you wanted to get started with those. This guy I really love because it has these great red stems. So I just think it would be really neat to use it in a garden with some other red accents below it to kind of accentuate that. This one is called Preziosa. Kind of sounds like a Harry Potter thing with a wand. This guy is Hydrangea quercifolia. It's called Ruby Slippers. It doesn't look ruby because it ages to ruby. So these flowers that are white will eventually age to a really, really pretty ruby red. So another really great one. Of course, Hydrangea paniculata limelight, which we sell the bejeebies out of, this guy. It's the one that we have a really big mama specimen that I planted probably 13 years ago. We took it out of the ground when we thought we were moving. So right now it's in a big fabric pot up on a table in the front display. If you want to come and look at it, it has a good structure that's already existing on it. It gives you an idea of kind of what it can do over time. This is Hydrangea Bloomstruck. Bloomstruck and Summer Crush, which is here. There's a whole, I'm forgetting the collection, but there's a whole collection put out by Endless Summer. We've carried a lot of them this year. They are hybrids of Hydrangea macrophylla. So we're going to talk about how to prune those too. The other one that people are really going gangbusters over is this guy. This is, and now I'm going to forget, where's your tag? This is Starfield. And this has a glorious, deep, double pink, it looks like confetti. It's gorgeous. So this is one, I'm surprised we haven't sold out of these quicker. I think people, when they first look at them from a distance, they are just seeing a traditional mop head. But when you get in close, they're really, really stunning. So another macrophylla hybrid. So starting out with Hydrangea macrophylla. Hydrangea macrophylla are traditionally the mop head hydrangeas. They are also lace cap hydrangeas, so it's that grouping in general. These bloom off of old wood. Yes, just want to make sure I have notes because this is just so intimidating to me. So you think you guys get intimidated, so do I. So you can see I stripped a lot of the foliage off of this so you could kind of see what we're looking at. And what we're looking at is these are all the new growth nodes that are going to give you blooms next year. Okay, so you don't really want to prune those off. The guideline is for macrophyllas is to prune for shape, for broken stems, crossing over, and then the other guideline is to take a third of the stems out, and I would pretty much only do that if it was a really old bush. This is still pretty young. It has a lot of space for it to kind of create more structure. So I don't know that I would take a third of these out. If it was an older shrub that had been in the ground for 3 or 4 years, I would say, yeah, you can definitely do that. But what we're going to do is we're just going to clean this one up kind of simply. This is a stem that's kind of in the center, and it is leaning against the other stem. So we're just going to get rid of it. There's a broken stem down here we're going to get rid of, and we're going to get rid of these that are dead. Also, there's a damaged stem here, and there's a new stem coming here that looks much more substantial. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to eliminate these guys so that we have the strength going to that nice sturdy stem. Now what I'm going to do is just go through and kind of take the tips off to just kind of level the plant out. The reason we're doing that is so that next year when it starts to grow, it'll grow in a uniform shape. Mop heads look better if they have a nice, clean shape. Okay, so that's it for Macrophylla, traditional Macrophylla. Tuck this under. Okay. Non-traditional hybrid Macrophyllas. Most of them that are out on the market are from Endless Summer. It's a series, and there's about 7 different varieties. We started carrying the original one, which is called the original, probably about 7 or so years ago. Really beautiful. These re-bloom. So this series is really good because it's going to give you kind of repeat blooms throughout the season. So as these flowers age out, you can go ahead and clip them off. You're just not going to take a lot of the stem away. You can take it away, down to a shape if you're trying to get things kind of leveled out. But for the most part, you're just going to go through, and I know this seems sacrilegious because some of these flowers are really pretty, but we're just going to take, I'm not sure if you can see this. So just below the flower stem is a leaf set. This leaf set is not going to promote any new growth, but if you go down just one node further, you'll see the new growth nodes happening. So when you prune these hybrids, you want to go to the second leaf set, or just basically where you're seeing those new growth nodes emerging, and just clean up accordingly. Sometimes in our coastal environment, these don't always go really dormant. If you wanted to assist it in going dormant, you could certainly in the winter strip leaves off and get it down to naked stems and do your cleanup, and then you'd have nice brand new leafy plant in the spring. So hybrids, that's the basics. Keep it simple, small amount of flower removal. Usually flower removal happens as the flowers age. A lot of the reading I did said that you could do it in summer. Depending on when the flowers are looking rough, I think you could do it almost any time as long as you're not taking the stems down really low. So that is Hydrangea hybrid Macrophylla, or Macrophylla hybrid. Okay, now we're bringing in the beast. And it's going to be a little daunting. This is Hydrangea paniculata limelight. And what I'm going to do, you're probably going to be like, oh God, I can't believe he's doing that. I know I say that a lot, but a lot of you guys come in and say, I can't believe how hard you prune that. I am taking this back really quickly to some simple nodes so I can show you what you're looking for. And I'm removing any of the dead, old branches that don't look good. and favoring ones that, that look good. Also, we're getting rid of anything in the middle. So all of the paniculatas bloom off of new wood. I told you, this is very confusing. So you're not alone in this. So what you want to do is be pretty aggressive in your pruning. And you want to get to a structure that is nice and sturdy. So I usually eliminate some of these little wispy branches that are just kind of, to me, annoying, plus anything that's pointing inward. So I'm doing this pretty down and dirty. I'm pretty much leaving 1 or 2 nodes on all the branches I'm saving. And when I say 1 or 2 nodes, there's a node here and a node here. So the reason I'm leaving 1 or 2 is because that's where my new growth is going to come from next year. Again, getting rid of all of this little debris. Unfortunately, I mean, I know it's impossible for these growers to do this, but the growers machine prune these. So they drive through the field with this pruning machine, and it does the pruning in kind of a linear fashion, but does not get to any of the interior, because that's a lot of labor for somebody to sit there and do it. So you're seeing I made pretty quick work of this. It sometimes happens that you kind of, as you're going through, if you're afraid you're pruning too hard on any plant, doesn't matter which one, stop, then step back, take a look. And just know that sometimes we prune something and we didn't mean to prune it. Like it was a stem, we thought it was a certain stem and we were cutting what we thought was something and it was something else. Accidents happen, people. Don't beat yourself up. It's a plant, it's going to regrow. The other thing I try to do when I'm done with all of this is make sure I have none of the foliage remaining because I want it to go to sleep. Granted, this is done. I usually do it not too far after it's done blooming. But you can do it as late as October, November. Now, this structure is okay, but I'm not sure if you can see that there's a lot of crossing over that's happening. We want as much air circulation as possible in this guy, so we're actually going to eliminate that one. I'm going to eliminate this stem that's pointing into this structure. I'm going to eliminate this one, because basically what we want is we want everything to be outward movement. Okay? There you go. So that is Hydrangea paniculata. There are quite a few different varieties. There's Limelight, there's Pinky Winky, there's Limelight Petite, I think. We traditionally sell the Limelight, the basic Limelight. And then once in a while we'll carry a few of the hybrids, but they don't seem to sell as well. You guys don't like them as much. So we carry a few, but not a lot. Alrighty. That was that. Down and dirty quick. Okay. So this is Hydrangea quercifolia. There's a few different varieties of Hydrangea quercifolia. This one happens to be Ruby Slippers. Blooms white, as I said, and then fades, oddly enough, fades to this maroon color. The other thing you need to know about hydrangeas is a lot of them have really, really great fall color. This one has incredible fall color, like bright, bright red foliage in the fall. So this one, same thing. You are basically just doing cleanup, a little bit of shaping if you need to, if you have a lot of things crossing over. But you're not pruning it a lot. you're just going to get rid of flowers. And on this guy, he actually has growth nodes right below the flower stalk. So you would just cut to there in probably November or December. And you would just cut just above that, and then those would emerge next year as your new blooms. So the other, I just thought of something. Oof. There's a climbing hydrangea, and I think it's also, it might be Hydrangea quercifolia. But same thing on that. This one's a climbing one, and it actually attaches to the wall. I haven't seen it in a long time, but some of you might have it. And for that, you would just prune again to a structure. You wouldn't get rid of a lot of the stems unless you need to for shaping. So once it starts climbing on a trellis or a wall, the branches start to come out. As they come out with flowers, when you go to prune them, you would just prune back to 2 nodes so that that then creates another bloom structure for the following season. Again, these are pruned late in the season, after blooms are done, or you can even wait until fall and do, or winter, and do a whole cleanup. Strip the leaves off, which might have already fallen, but you could help it go into a sleep moment. All right. Fertilizing. So for the most part, here on the coast, we have an acidic soil. Most of us do. And hydrangeas love that. Now, hydrangeas will be mostly, if it's a pink hydrangea, it might fade a little bit to blue in our acidic soils. The more acidity you have, the more blue your pink hydrangeas are going to be. Now, I did do some research, and they did say that you could also increase the acidity for white hydrangeas to have more of a pink blush, but it's truly a blush. It is not a deep pink. It's, honestly, I didn't think the images didn't really do it justice as far as, like, I'm not going to go through that much work for that effect. It didn't seem like it was that dramatic. But one of them, this guy, I just love. So I think this is Bloomstruck. No, sorry, Summer Crush. So this guy, these flowers, they start out like this, which is beautiful in itself. They go to this, which is gorgeous. And then they fade to this. How is that for stunning? I mean, it's really got a lot of action going on. But in an acidic environment, it would darken more. On the pink ones, like this guy up here, if you created more acidity in the soil, you would get a darker pink, probably not quite a blue, but definitely a darker tone. On the traditional hydrangeas, which I don't have a real traditional macrophylla big hydrangea, those that have pink flowers would definitely turn to blue. So one of the ways to do that, and I'm going to apologize right now because I ordered this, I ordered a case of it, and my supplier sent me one. It was supposed to be a case of 6. This is fast-acting sulfur. And if you want your pink hydrangeas to be blue, then what you would do is treat with this 3 times a year. Once in the spring as they're emerging, once again kind of midsummer, I'd say like June, July, and then again in the fall. So this helps to turn those pink hydrangeas blue. And if you have something that's more of a reddish tone hydrangea, it'll turn it really pretty maroon. So great option. I have more of it on order. Hopefully 6 of them are going to come next time. Also, the EB Stone Organics Azalea, Camellia, and Gardenia food is a great option. I would fertilize this probably 3 times a year also for your hydrangeas. If you have hydrangeas in pots, You have to fertilize more, you have to water more. So if you're coming in and saying, gosh, my hydrangea that's been in a half wine barrel for 7 years doesn't look so good. Well, it's probably run out of soil mass. It's probably thirsty and it's probably hungry. So I would suggest at least fertilizing things like that at least 3 times a year. If it's in a pot, I would almost say during the growing season, fertilize monthly. If you wanted to fertilize monthly with a water soluble, this is the Maxi Acid, and it conveniently has a picture of a hydrangea on the front. So this would be used once a month, 2 tablespoons into a 2-gallon watering can, and poured on to the plant in the container. If you have hydrangeas in containers and you're having tip burn, brown leaves, a lot of times that's because it's not getting enough water. Hydrangeas adore water, so let's just say that. A lot of times in the older buildings, especially around town in Fort Bragg and Mendocino, you will see hydrangeas at the base of a downspout. That's because they absolutely love all of that water. So don't forget to water, and if you have them in a pot, put a saucer under it. They don't usually get bothered too much by any pests. So sometimes you'll see aphids maybe on the new growth in the beginning of the season, but for the most part they don't. But if you do, you would use the neem oil. This would take care of insects and any disease. The one thing that does happen here on the coast is Entomosporium leaf spot. I've shown this to you guys before on other plants. Unfortunately, this is just the nature of the beast. The only way I think you could avoid this would be to, when the new leaves emerge, to spray it with cloud cover. And the cloud cover would kind of seal the leaf and make that fungal spot not possible to actually attach and then do its thing. It's not a horrible thing. It's not going to kill your plant. It's not going to upset the balance. It comes and goes. As we have rain and warm temps, or a lot of humidity and warm temps, it exacerbates that. And we had a lot of that this season. It's been rainy, warm, and we've had a lot of heavy fog. The mornings have been really, really dewy. So I think, let me check my notes just to make sure. And I did make notes. If any of you guys want this, I can screenshot it and put it on social media for you. It's really straightforward, so it might be a little bit too basic. But I think I got everything. Okay. I did it. Hydrangeas Demystified. A long time coming. I hope you guys are having a great day. It is beautiful outside. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the fog will stay away. And we will look forward to seeing you at the nursery.